Good afternoon, or I should say good morning. For some of you, it might be good afternoon. For me, it's still morning. Today we're going to be talking about one of my favorite subjects. I know I had a lot of people in the group asking me about what we do for vendor fairs or spring. We call them in our area. It's called a spring showcase. It's something the chamber puts on. And in every community, some of them are different. We're going to be talking about, I'm going to go over everything that our team does to prepare for them. Before, there's so many different opportunities for lead gen in the home show. Before, during, and after. So you want to make sure that you're prepared and you're taking advantage and getting the most lead gen opportunity out of it that you can possibly get. For those of you that watch the video, if you're interested in my checklist or my playbook for the vendor fair, comment below after you're watching the video playbook, and I will have my assistant send you that as a gift for watching. Anyway, let's get into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is pre-event prep. So as I mentioned a minute ago, what I love about participating in things like these is if you're a single agent and you're not, maybe you don't have a big team to help you. When you participate in a chamber event or a community event or an event that someone else is already going to the expense to put on, it makes it more manageable for you, a little less overwhelming and costly. Obviously, you're saving some money. So our spring showcase is through our local chamber, and I am a chamber member. I pretty much participate in everything the chamber does and puts on because I feel like if I'm paying for it anyway, I want to make sure I'm getting, the most value that I can out of it. So, when you sign up, I think ours is a couple $100s. Sometimes I do a double booth depending on the year. You can do a double booth. And if we're doing a double booth, we always bring our Easy Up tent and put our tent in there. Usually we'll bring our for sale sign so people can see our for sale sign. And it just helps like decorate the booth and gives you more space. So anyway, that's actually at the event. We're going to talk about that in a little bit later. So right now we're talking about pre-event preparation, which can be like 2 to 4 weeks before. Actually, if you can start marketing it 4 weeks before, that's awesome. The more you can market it before, the better. So first of all, you're going to be setting clear goals. So you want to know, like, why are you doing it? Okay. What you have to realize is when you're doing a spring showcase or a vendor fair, a lot of times, you're doing it for branding, just to get your name out in the community. I don't really do a vendor fair with the assumption that the people that are stopping by my booth are going to need to buy or sell a house today. I do it more just to get my name out. People are like, oh, we see the McNamee team everywhere. You guys are just everywhere. And again, I call that omnipresence, when people say they think they see you everywhere because, you're supporting all the local stuff. Anyway, you're setting your goals. Like, are you looking for leads? Are you looking for brand awareness? Are you actually looking for appointments? I mean, that would be great. That's the whole reason we do this, right? So just sort of define success for you so that you can measure it and you're not disappointed after it's over. That would be the first step is, ask yourself, like, why am I doing this? What are my expectations? Create an irresistible offer. And this takes a little bit of pre-planning. So you want to ask yourself, like, what is going to draw people into my booth? Is it going to be a giveaway? Is it going to be a discount on something? Is it going to be a freebie? If you're ensuring it's something valuable that will encourage engagement, you want to make sure, sometimes it could be like you're giving away swag, or maybe you're giving away a free appraisal for any person that buys in the next 6 months, or whatever you decide you want it to be. If you're doing swag, some of the swag that I like to give away, you can do. A lot of people do pens, so I guess a pen is still valuable. People like pens, but you're not really standing out. You can do the post-it notes. We have our McNamee team post-it notes. Those are always good. Branded notebooks. Reusable shopping bags. What I love about the reusable shopping bag is when people are at those events, a lot of times they go just for the free swag, right? So if you can have like a bag that they're handing out at the front door, it gives them something that they can actually use at the event, and all the stuff that they're carrying around that they're collecting at the event can go in your bag. And if your bag is branded, I should have had mine available. If your bag is branded, then people are gonna see it. They're gonna see people walking around with it. So here's our bag. It has our logo and all of our contact information on it. It's a canvas reusable bag, but it's really kind of a cheaper quality. It's not like the ones that I use for my Bubbles and Bobbles event. But this would be great for a showcase, to have them hand out at the door for people when they arrive. And that could be your giveaway item. The other thing we've done in the past is playing cards, t-shirts, the fake Yeti tumbler. Like, here's a Yeti tumbler. These are a little more costly. But you could do prize. That could be a prize if you're doing a game. You could do branded water bottles. One of the other things that we do, I don't have any in front of me, but I have my printer make it's a 5x2 label, and it fits perfectly on the chocolate Hershey bar. And we just label the Hershey sticker bar. It covers all the words that Hershey, and it just looks like a branded candy bar. So we do hand those out. You could do a frisbee, a baseball hat. Those are just some different ideas that you could do. So anyway, I'm talking about that now because that is part of the pre-planning process. If you are going to give something away, some swag item, you need to make sure you get that ordered in advance. So promoting your presence before the event. I love this because, as I said, the whole purpose of doing the event is you want to make sure you're making the most out of your opportunity for lead gen and to get it out there that you're going to be at the event, right? Even though it's not technically only your event, you're participating with a bunch of other people. It's still a great way for you to be promoting something fun in the community. So go ahead and make sure you're doing Instagram posts, your Facebook posting, and all of your social media. You could even do a short video. So once you have your swag ordered, you have to start thinking about your booth. So we have a black tablecloth that says McNamee Real Estate Team across the front of it. We use those for any events that we're doing because obviously, again, we need people seeing our name. Our Easy Up tent has our logo at the top. We want, again, anytime they look at us to remember, oh, it's the McNamee team, and it's just going to build brand recognition for you. You can order banners, make sure you're ordering signage, make sure you have business cards, and then you can create a digital sign up option for at the event. If you're going to be giving away a prize, you can either have them handwrite a drawing slip, or some people use the QR codes. But if there's a lot of older people that you think are going to be attending the event, sometimes they don't always have smartphones. They're not really sure what to do with the QR code. So I personally still am all about the old handwritten way to do it that way. So the other thing that we love to do are balloons, branded balloons, with our logo on the balloons, and of course fill them with helium. We always rent a helium tank to have at the event, because again, if people are walking around carrying our bag and their kid is carrying one of our branded balloons, again, it's just you're everywhere at the event. You're not only in your little booth, you're everywhere. People are walking around with your stuff everywhere. So that's always a good one too. And the kids love you too, because what kid doesn't love a balloon? So, one of the other things that I like to do is connect with the other vendors and organizers in advance to just kind of start building rapport with them and looking, you guys know I'm all about the collaboration. So, sort of review the list, get the list of vendors from the chamber so you know who are the vendors that are going to be at the event so that you know in advance, here's the ones that I want to make sure I connect with, okay? So now we're on day of the event. So we want to make our booth stand out, right? You don't want to be like everyone else. This is why sometimes I'll get the double booth, because having a bigger booth obviously is going to make you stand out more. Use bright colors, vertical displays, eye-catching signage, and then make sure you're creating an inviting open space. Again, like I said before, make sure your tablecloth is branded. And I always bring my for sale sign. And you can, even the wood post ones, you can set them up. I think last time we brought our wood post sign, we brought like a tire or something and set it up that way. But you can also do your open house signs. You can just, your tent signs for open houses, you could bring those and tie balloons to them to attract attention inside or like right outside your booth. So for engagement, you want to have an engagement strategy. Some people do games. You could do spin the wheel. You could do an interactive demo to attract people. The goal is engagement, right? You know how awkward and uncomfortable it can be if you're standing in a booth and people don't want to make eye contact with you, right? So you need to think about how am I going to overcome that and make sure that people actually want to interact with me. What is it that's going to draw them in? And we started doing this probably, probably, I can't even remember how many years ago, maybe 6 years ago. But I do cake. So I ordered 2 sheet cakes from the local bakery. And, of course, they have my logo on them. And then what we do is we cut the cake, and then on the plates, it's a clear plastic plate, the Chinette ones. And the sticker on it, I don't know if you can see it here where the camera is. Oh, here it is. It says, selling your home with the McNamee team is a piece of cake. So we put that sticker on the plate so that while they're eating the cake, they're seeing that sticker. And again, it's another reminder. It's just kind of a cute, catchy little saying, hey, selling your home with the McNamee real estate team's a piece of cake. So, the plates get thrown away, whatever. But I'm kind of like psycho when it comes to branding. Like, if I'm going to be somewhere and I'm going to be serving cake, you can be damn sure the plate they're eating from is going to be branded. It's going to have my name on it. So that's just one thing that I've always focused on in my business. I just don't want anyone to ever forget my name. So here's what I love about the cake. So my team, the first year I said we were going to have cake, they literally all laughed at me and made fun of me. And they're like, yeah, that's just totally stupid. Cake, no one will eat the cake. Well, guess what? The first year we had the cake, we had 2 huge sheet cakes, and we actually ran out like halfway through the event. People loved the cake. And it was a way to actually get them over to our booth. And, some of them just came over and grabbed their free piece of cake, but keep in mind we also had the drawing there. So while they were waiting for us to get their cake, they were filling out the drawing slip, and we were kind of engaging them in conversation. It helped so that there was no awkwardness of people not wanting to make eye contact with you, because let's face it, not everybody at a home show is going to need a realtor today, right? And they're not going to want to talk to you about real estate if you're going to, do you know what I mean? Like if they don't need a realtor other than the cake, there would be really no reason for them to come and talk to you. And your drawing, of course, if you're doing a giveaway or you're playing a game or whatever. But I love the cake. I will never do another vendor fair without cake. I just think it's like that important. And it just works for me. So I wanted to share that idea with you. Okay, so lead capture system, like this is important. You want to have some way to capture their information. So again, it's either going to be a sign up sheet, a QR code, a giveaway to collect their emails. You know, it could even be a giveaway to a $20 gift card to the local coffee shop. It could be anything, and you know, it could be an Amazon gift card, whatever you want it to be. Or, you know, again, it could be something relating to your business, like a free home appraisal. But here's the thing, someone's not going to want to sign up for a free appraisal unless they're thinking they're going to be buying soon. So the whole goal of this is you want to capture the information of everyone there, not necessarily just the people who need to buy or sell a house. So you want to make sure whatever your giveaway is something that anyone would want to win, okay? Okay, so we already talked about brand giveaways. You want to make sure your brand giveaway serves a purpose. Always make sure, you know, it's something that they're going to want to use. Like here's one that I do for my Bubbles and Bobbles. I just order these little notebooks from Amazon. Let's see, here they are in the, and then I just order stickers from my local printer and I just stick the stickers on. It's way cheaper than actually ordering like a branded notebook that the first page cover has your info on it. It's a little more effort to stick the stickers on the notebooks, but you can get like, I want to say I got like 300 of those notebooks for like $60 on Amazon. It's super cheap. So anyway, something to think about. Okay, so during the event, yes, we have the cake. You know, don't just sell. In fact, don't sell at all. Don't even talk to them about real estate unless somebody brings it up. I just am there to interact and communicate and get to know people, right? They know I'm in real estate. They saw my branded tablecloth. They saw my branded Easy Up tent. Like, I don't need to tell them I'm in real estate. In fact, if you live in Hudson, you probably know me and know that I sell real estate. So I don't sell them. I ask questions, I start conversation, and I always listen anytime before I even bring up real estate. So you can go live like I'm doing today from the event. I know someone in this group, Alexia, the last home show she did live videos right from the event, and that's a great way for people to be like, oh, there's an event happening, and you know, this person is there promoting themselves and supporting the community. So sometime, the other thing that's great is if you do a video or a Facebook post or social media, Instagram post, whatever, from the event, I always make sure that I tag any other vendors that are there that I know that I'm friends with on Facebook, because that's getting them free exposure as well. So the other thing you can do while you're there is, you know, if you do get a prospect at the home show or the vendor fair, you know, just make sure you have a notepad handy to make notes on people you should follow up with after the event, because I know you think you'll remember it, but with all the chaos and everything, you're not going to remember it. So just make sure you're prepared with that. So now the next one is one of my favorites, and again, we've been doing this for probably the last 10 years, is networking. Again, you know, I'm all about the networking. You're networking with other vendors that are there. And so what we do is ahead of time, we plan and we pass out treat bags to the vendors. And think of it this way. If you're doing a vendor fair, especially if you're alone and you don't have like a team of people helping you or whatever, you're sitting behind a table all day long. You brought no water, you brought no breath mints, you brought no gum, you brought no food, Nothing. Like you're sitting there and you're like, oh, how am I going to leave my booth to go get some food? I'm hungry or I'm thirsty or, oh, I forgot I ate garlic last night. I feel like I need a breath mint. Okay. So it is a prime opportunity for you to be a giver and show up as a community giver at the event. This, to be honest, you guys, is really the only reason I do these events, because I want to give a vendor bag to another vendor. It's the only reason I do it. That and, to get my name out in the community, to get that brand awareness. But I know, like, this is the gold right here. And in the vendor bag, usually it's just a brown paper craft bag, I always put a sticker on it. It's going to have my, here's my Bubbles and Baubles one, but I would typically have it, would say my logo, McNamee Real Estate Team. Put that on the front of the bag. And then the water bottle, I have my printer make me a water bottle. I take the water bottle off the Evian or the Dasani bottle, and I put my own water bottle on there that says McNamee Team, because when they're drinking that water, I want everyone at the vendor fair to see that they're drinking a water from the McNamee Team. Okay, so that's going to go in the vendor bag. We're going to put individual serving bags of nuts, chips, beef jerky, granola bar, pretzels. We usually do the branded Hershey bar with my sticker on it. Sometimes we'll put fruit in it, like bananas, cuties, the little mini oranges work well, or an apple. I always do mints and gum. And then usually I'll put like a branded McNamee Team pen in there. I usually put a Post-it pad in there. And then the other one that I love to do is put a flyer for our next upcoming event. So like in the, when our spring showcase is, it's like probably 3 weeks before we do our movie event. So what I'll do is I make sure that my printer has the movie event flyer ready and printed. And then when we're filling the vendor bags, we actually put an invitation to our next free event in the vendor bag. So then it gives them, that little, another second invitation to come to our free movie event if they want to and bring their kids. So that's that one. Okay, so that's the vendor bag. And here's what I love about the vendor bags. Like, this is what's gonna set you apart. No one else at this vendor fair would ever think about anyone else but themselves. They are so busy planning their booth, freaking out about, what brochure do I bring? How am I going to get people into my booth? Like, we are so engrossed in the planning of the event that there's no time to think about anyone else. But for me, actually what I also should be putting in that vendor bag is my postcard for my St. Croix Valley Girls meeting, like an invite to my St. Croix Valley Girls meeting. Because here's the thing, it's your moment to sort of wow them and make you stand out like differently than anyone else there. And while we're walking around, it's my opportunity to have that conversation with them, to be like, hey, my name is Jill McNamee. I'm with the McNamee Real Estate Team. We just wanted to give you a little gift. We know you sit here, all day. You probably didn't think to bring food or water. Here's a little special gift from us. It was really great meeting you. And then I always pick up their card, okay? So again, I could just walk up to the table with nothing but my business card and say, hey, I'm Jill. I'm with the McNamee Team. I just wanted to meet you. I could do that, but that would kind of be what everyone's going to do, right? I want to do what's going to make me memorable. And I always think when I'm planning things like this, like, how could I really 10x this and take this to the next level? And I know my live last week was on the consumer experience. this all goes back to that. Like, I could do everything half-assed, but who's going to remember me for that? No one's going to remember me. So I want to make sure that if I'm going to go to the effort to do a vendor fair or set up a booth at a vendor fair, like, it is a lot of work. I'm going to make sure I'm going to hit everyone in a way that they can't forget me. And so when most people go to a vendor show like this, they're thinking about the people that are walking around from the community who are looking for the free pen. I'm thinking I want to get in front of these business owners, because a lot of these business owners are going to be vendor partners of mine, that maybe, maybe the window guy wants to do a collaboration with me. Maybe the designer wants to collaborate with me. They want to become one of my vendor partners. And, if you've been following me for any time, I have a whole system and playbook that I run based on my networking group, my vendor collaborations, and my vendor partnerships. They get local dish videos that I promote them on. I mean, I have a pretty robust vendor partner program that I run, and I'm always looking for new vendors to highlight in my vendor guide and on my local dish social media, whatever you want to call them, interviews. So this is the prime opportunity for me to walk around and meet people and be memorable and give them that gift. Okay, so I talked enough about the vendor bag. Hopefully you understand why I do that and what you're gonna get from it. Okay, so now we're gonna talk about post-event follow-up, and this is usually within 48 hours of the event, because you want it to still be fresh in their mind. You're going to send an email message or social media if you don't have their email address, but hopefully you grab their card, right? So I'm talking about the vendors now, and then the people who filled out your drawing form. So remember, your follow-up is going to be, for one, the people from the community just walking around the show. You're going to need to follow up with them, and you're also going to need to follow up with the vendors that you met at the show while you were handing out the vendor guide. So you're going to actually have two groups of people that you need to do follow-up for. And this is the whole reason we do this to begin with, is we want to be able to do that follow-up. So you're going to email them, hey, it was great meeting you. If they're a business owner, they're going to get a handwritten note from me, and the handwritten note's going to sound like this. Hey, Brian, it was really great meeting you at the vendor fair on Sunday. I would love to grab a coffee with you sometime and hear more about your business. Okay? Take note, I did not say I want to grab coffee with you to tell you about my business or my partnership, vendor partnerships, or anything about me. This is not about me. You cannot make this about you. You are meeting them to hear about their business. And once you meet them for coffee, they're going to just generally ask about your business. They always do. But you don't make the coffee appointment. Like, I literally, when I meet people for coffee, I say nothing about me until they ask me. It's all about them. Because when you leave it all about them, they leave like thinking to themselves, wow, I can't believe, like, Jill's amazing. Like, she asked all these questions about me and let me talk about people. We all love to talk about ourselves. So the more you can let someone talk about themselves, the better off you'll be. So that's how it's going to look if they're a business owner. If they are just a random person that filled out your drawing slip and they're not a business owner, that they didn't have a vendor booth there, the follow-up's going to be probably, it could be a phone call, just saying, hey, it was really great meeting you. I'm really sorry you weren't the winner of the prize. I'm just calling to let you know that. I really enjoyed meeting you. And again, I don't ask them about real estate. I just tell them it was really nice meeting you and you weren't the winner. Maybe maybe you'll win next year. Hope to see you at the event again next year. And then I always say, be sure to reach out if there's any connections that you need for home for your home, or if you ever have any questions about the current real estate market, and then you can let them go. And then they'll go on my list for my newsletter, my monthly newsletter that I send out. So that's that. I usually will post a recap on social media. I share pictures, thank attendees, and keep engagement going. And again, this would be your opportunity to tag other vendors that you met while you were at the event. Because think about it this way, you guys. I always tell my local business owners here that I teach, the easiest, best way to make someone love you is to promote them on social media, and it costs you nothing. If I go on their Google, my business page, and I fill out a review for one of my local business owner friends, what do you think they're going to think of me? They're going to just love me. If I see that one of my friends had something cool happen for them, like my friend that owns the bakery, Twin Cities Live, this big, huge community showcase show on TV, came and did an interview in her store. I mean, it's a huge, big deal. Like it was a mammoth accomplishment for her. I shared it and tagged her in it. Like, why wouldn't you do that for your business owner friends? Like, it takes you literally seconds to do, and they will love you forever if you promote them or if you tag them. If you recently went in their hair salon and you got a great haircut from one of their people, tag the owner or tag the person that gave you the haircut. Like, it's so simple, you guys, but we don't do it. It's honestly, it's the simplest, easy thing you can do to gain raving fans. So you just have to be purposeful about thinking about supporting others. So, maybe you need to put that on your daily success plan, is to promote 5 others today. All right, then you're going to schedule your follow-ups. Again, especially if they were business owners. The business owners that I meet at these vendor fairs, like, I will make a goal to have coffee with each and every one of them within like a 3-month time frame. Because I want to make sure that I'm following up, because if you meet them one time at a vendor fair, even if I do give them a nice little goodie bag, like, that's not a relationship, right? You want to make sure. So if you think about real estate, really, it's going deep on your connections, not necessarily wide. So yes, you can have 10,000 people in your database, but you can't regularly touch 10,000 people, right? So you want to, it's almost easier to have fewer people in your database that you have super deep relationships with. Well, the only way to build a super deep relationship with someone is to actually get to know them, invite them out for coffee, go meet them, hear about their business, hear about their family and their friends and what they like to do for fun. I mean, that's how you're going to really get to know someone. And then you're going to evaluate. So I always do what I call a strategic reflection after every event that I either do or put on or participate in. And I ask myself these questions. And the first question is, what drew the most attention to my booth? And for me, the answer is always the cake. Even if we're doing a prize drawing, I feel like it's really the cake. They see people standing around my booth eating it, and they want the cake. It's just the weirdest thing. But the next question is, which giveaways worked best? So over the years, I always keep track of, okay, the Amazon gift card maybe didn't really land like I thought it would. Maybe people want local gift cards. The other thing about local is you're supporting local. The other thing that I love about the whole local thing is sometimes if you walk into a restaurant and say, hey, I'm giving away some prizes at the upcoming Chamber Spring Showcase, I would love to purchase one of your gift cards as my drawing item. A lot of times the restaurant owners will, sometimes they'll give them to you for free just for thinking of them, or sometimes they'll split it 50-50 with you and you can get a reduced rate on that. So again, I mean, I more do it that way just because I'm supporting local, and I always choose local if I can. Okay, so the last question would be, would I consider doing this event again? Again, it might be a McNamee team event, like my Bubbles and Bobbles event that I reevaluate every year. Is it still worth doing? Am I still getting business from it? Maybe it's an event that you do that you didn't really feel like you, but here's the thing. If you do the event like I'm telling you to do the event today, it's going to be worth it and you're going to want to do it again. Just the vendor bag piece of it is going to be enough to get you to want to do it again. And then you can go one step further with that whole vendor partnership thing. Start a networking group based on those vendors that you met at the spring showcase. Follow up and do a monthly meetup with them. How would that look for your business? And then the last question is, if I would consider doing that event again, what would or could I do differently to make it better? Remember, like, I'm always looking for ways to 10x what I'm doing, so that reevaluating is like, okay, what went well and what could be improved upon, or what would make it better again? Like, how could next year I show up better? You know, maybe it's putting something different in the vendor bags or whatever. So anyway, so ask yourself those questions. So that is sort of my playbook for how I show up when I'm doing a local, any kind of local event where I'm having a booth. The other thing you can do if you don't have the money to actually put toward the booth, because usually they're $250 or $300 to have a booth, you can actually call the chamber and say, hey, I see you're having this event. I would love to volunteer. Are you needing people to help volunteer? Again, there's ways to participate in this stuff even if you don't have the money, right? So if you don't have money to spend on the booth, you can still be involved. It's just going to be, you're going to be involved in a different way, but you're still going to be in front of people. So, anyway, so this is one thing I wanted to share with you. I know there's been a lot of people in the group asking for, and I think I had done a class before, but it was alive and it got erased. So I'll make sure that I will download this so that it doesn't go away. This training will be here forever. And I also want to invite you to my Real Estate Ramp Up group coaching program. If you're interested in more about that, we meet each week, each Wednesday on Zoom. And that's a great group to be a part of too. We'd love to have you join us. So if you want more information or details on that, private message me or comment below and I'll fill you in on that. Otherwise, I will see you on next week's live. If you have any questions or if you want the playbook on this, comment playbook and I'll make sure you get the playbook. Thanks again.